Morning, dear children. So let's continue with our physics session. So in the last classes you have learned about machine, isn't it? You have learned about simple machines, right? And you have learned about types of simple machine, isn't it? There were six type of different machines, which simple machines, which we knew in the last class. The first one was lever. Second one was inclined plane, right? Third is your screw. Fourth one is your pulleys. Fifth one is your wedge. Sixth one is your wheel and axle. All right, so we have already learned about lever, isn't it? Three classes of lever: class 1 lever, class 2 lever, and class 3 lever in our last class. So this one we have already completed, isn't it? Along with the examples, we also saw the examples of class 1 lever, class 2 lever, class 3 levers, right? So today we'll be discussing about inclined plane, screws, wedge, and wheel and axle. So these four types of simple machines we will learn today. They are inclined plane, screw, wedge, and wheel and axle. Alright, so pulleys we will do in the next session. Alright, so let's begin with our first one, that is inclined plane. Alright, so what is inclined plane? An inclined plane, please underline, is a slanted surface that reaches from one lower level to a higher level. The inclined plane is used to raise a heavy load easily by moving it along an inclined surface, as it's difficult to raise it vertically by lifting it. So you can see there is a drum, and this surface which is slanted, slanted. So this drum can be easily rolled over this. So this surface which is slanted, which is used to reach from the lower surface to the higher surface, तलदेखि माथिसम्म लाने surface, यो slanted surface लाई we call it as inclined plane. So to understand this in much better way, let's imagine, or let's see that there is a truck. So there is a truck. So I have a truck here. So I have a truck here and I have a drum here, and this is the road. So I want to take this drum, or a tank, on the back of the truck. Now since this tank is very heavy, so I will not be able to lift it. So what I will do is I will take a ramp, a slanted surface, a ramp. Now this I will roll here and push it and lift here and place here on the back of the truck. So here you see that I am easily able to load this tank on the back of the truck with the help of this plank. This plank can be wooden or metal, made up of metal, understand, or metal plank. This is what we call inclined plane. So inclined plane, let's say, it helps you to raise yourself or something from the lower surface to the higher surface in much easier and in much convenient way. So this kind of plank or a wooden surface or a plane is called inclined plane. Alright, so let's see again here. So you see here that this is the plank. This is the plank, or this is the plane, which is helping to lift or move this drum, or a load from here lower surface to this higher surface. So this plane is called inclined plane. All right, so here you can see, you must have seen laborers using an inclined wooden plank, the one I told you just now, isn't it, to load heavy barrels etc. upon a cart or a truck. They do so because they need a much smaller force to push the load up the inclined plane, okay, as compared to what they would need if they have to lift it. So if they have to lift it, they have to use a large amount of force, but since now they are pushing it and rolling it, understand, and it becomes what, very easy for the laborers, okay, to push with a very little force to, okay, place the barrel from the lower surface to the higher surface using this inclined plane. So an inclined plane thus helps us to multiply the force. So force like ke गर्नु help गर्दो रहेछ, multiply. So what, inclined plane. So inclined plane, okay, multiplies the force. Okay, similarly, okay, the tap, inside the tap you will see a kind of a twisted bits, okay, or a screw. So screw is also a kind of inclined plane. Okay, you have seen a twisted bits or the roads on the hilly areas or the slopes of the mountain. So the whatever the roads you see here in the hills, okay, it helps you to take your vehicle from the lower surface to the higher surface, from the lower end to the higher end, from a lower place to a higher place. So the roads in the hills are also the example of inclined plane. All right, so this is our inclined plane. Now let's move to the third type of simple machine, and that is screw. So here you can see in the figure on page number 59, you will see that there are laborers who are loading up the barrels, okay, at the back of the truck by pushing them. So here this plank is the inclined plane. Okay, now let's go to screw. What is a screw? Screw is a special type of inclined plane. So inclined plane नै रहेछ screw पनि, तर it's a special type. Okay, now that has been rolled up. यसमा चाहिँ के छ, inclined plane चाहिँ rolled up गरेको छ केमा, screwमा. Alright, so in order to understand how an inclined plane forms a screw, let us consider the activity alongside. So here you have an activity, you can perform this by yourself. What you can do is you have to cut a right angle triangle from a sheet of paper. You have to take a paper and a right angle triangle. This is a right angle triangle where this is your 90 degree. Understand? Okay, then wrap it on a cylinder, say a pencil. Keeping the shorter side of the triangle along the axis of the cylinder, the pattern formed by the hypotenuse of the triangle, this is called hypotenuse, okay, the longest side of a triangle, right angle triangle. Okay, this activity explains why a screw forms an inclined plane. So here you can see there is a layers, okay, formed or patterns formed by the hypotenuse of this rectangular sheet of paper, okay, sorry, a triangular shape of paper which looks like a screw. So this is how the screw is made. Now what is the purpose of using a screw? Screws are generally used to hold the things together. दुईटा surface लाई जोड्नको लागि पनि के को चलाउँछौं हामीले, screw, isn't it? So screw actually helps to hold the things together. All right, so a screw is made by cutting spiral grooves on the surface. You will see what are grooves, okay, of metal rods. The spiral reeds so formed are called the threads of the screw. Okay, there is a threads. Okay, what do we call it? We call it thread. Okay, the distance between two threads, you will see this here. See, so the spiral is, so this one, the spiral is like we call it as threads. जो यो धार भएको हुन्छ, okay, धारिलो हुन्छ, so त्यसलाई भन्छ threads. Okay, the distance between the two threads, यो दुईटा threads को distance लाई चाहिँ what we call it? We call it pitch. So please underline this also. Okay, it is easier to drive a screw with a screwdriver. So how do we drive or how do we fix the screw? By using a device called screwdriver. Now screwdriver is also a simple machine which we will learn in the next page. Okay, screwdriver पनि एक प्रकारको के हो, simple machine नै हो. It's a type of a simple machine. We'll see in the upcoming topics. Okay, then by hammering it, because the screw has an inclined plane wrapped around a rod, so that is why we do not hammer it मार्तोलले ठोक्दैन हामीले स्क्रूलाई केले गर्छौं फिक्स गर्छौं स्क्रू ड्राइभरले अलराइट why because it has inclined plane on wrapped around it okay so it is something like a circular staircase so घुमाउने सिँढी जस्तै हो actually screws okay a jack used by mechanics you have seen this jack नेपालीमा we call it a jug isn't it whenever there is a puncture okay in a car puncture in a tire okay the driver lifts the car with the help of a device called jack so that jack is also also works on the principle of what screw and it is called a screw jack what jack we call it as screw jack it is used to lift heavy vehicles like cars buses and trucks see this is the use of screw jack all right so this is our what screw okay now we are going to the fourth type of okay simple machine that is wedge what is it wedge 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 that is the pronunciation wedge okay now what is wedge a wedge is another application of an inclined plane see you are seeing inclined plane pouring after that we saw screw is a special type of inclined plane now wedge is also our inclined plane तर यहाँ चाहिँ कतिवटा हुन्छ दुईटा inclined plane हुन्छ okay moves it is in a V shaped okay so for example you have seen a X bonchoro को कस्तो हुन्छ this is how it looks like a bonchoro isn't it this is the handle and here you see this is one inclined plane this is another inclined plane so wedge ma how many inclined planes are there two inclined planes are there which is in a shape of a V so here you के जस्तो देख्छ V जस्तो देख्छ all right so an X knife okay you have seen a knife isn't it a chisel so this one the carpenters use this chisel are examples of wedges we use wedge them to split the things or cut the things see the difference here screw लाई चाहिँ के गर्दै थियौं two things like bind to bind the two surfaces we are using wedge but to split दुई भागमा बाड्नको लागि काट्नको लागि चाहिँ what we use wedge so wedge is also a kind of inclined plane तर wedge मा चाहिँ कतिवटा inclined plane हुन्छ दुईटा alright so you have to keep this in your mind is that understood yes okay now let's go to the fifth kind of simple machine okay in total how many we have 6 so we are now reached to the fifth type of simple machine that is wheel and axle the wheel is often used much like a roller or a mean to reduce the friction when a wheel is used with an axle it is considered to be as a simple machine so wheel chakka mate चाहिँ simple machine ma आउँदैन but whenever you are using wheel along with the axle that time it becomes wheel and axle and it is called it comes under a simple machine now see here you can see there is a wheelchair so this is the wheel and your wheelchair चाहिँ अर्को wheel सँग जोडेको छ नि एउटा rod त्यो rod लाई चाहिँ we call it as axle understand त्यो rod लाई चाहिँ we call it as axle so you now it has wheel along with the axle so wheel and axle together is a simple machine so an axle itself is a form of a wheel okay therefore a wheel and axle consist of a big cylinder joined by a small cylinder the big cylinder is called the wheel okay and the smaller cylinder is called the axle all right so in the figure given below so here you can see in the figure on the next page you can turn the page okay all right okay in the next page okay you will see okay here you have wheel and axle so here in this picture you will see that this is the bigger wheel bigger wheel bigger cylinder we call it as wheel smaller cylinder we call it as axle okay so see I told you screwdriver is a kind of simple machine and what kind of simple machine it is wheel and axle यो ठुलो handle लाई we call it as wheel यो सानो पत्तालाई चाहिँ के भन्छ axle similarly यो भयो windlass okay to draw the water from the well this one egg beater you can see other multiple examples where you see that there are wheel and axle okay for example the tires or the wheels of a car two wheels of a car at the back or in the front is connected with a rod so this rod is a smaller cylinder called as axle, and this one bigger cylinder is called as the wheel. So this wheel and axle together makes a fifth simple machine, that is wheel and axle. All right, is that understood? So I guess now you have understood the 5 types of simple machines which we have discussed till now. They are lever, okay, inclined plane, screw, wedge, and wheel and axle. So the 6th kind of simple machine, that is pulley, we will do in the next class. All right, so I hope you have understood till here. Don't forget to go through this facts zone. Okay, fact zones. You have seen a moving staircase in the shopping complex. We call it as escalator. Have you seen that in the supermarkets? So they are called escalators. They are also a kind of simple machines. Okay, clear? So similarly, you have here, okay, you can see here x, about x is given here. Here you have enrichment, so you can just go through them. All right, so these are the 5 simple machines which we have learned until now. In the next class we will learn pulleys. Okay, so after completing this video lesson, you can just ask me if you have any confusions. Okay, and you will receive notes based on today's discussion. Please copy it in your copies and learn them. All right, so that's all for today.